Hello, welcome to Life on the Other Side. My name is Ruthie, and today we are talking about the mind and the shadow and how they go hand in hand. So, the mind is the most powerful organ in our body. It literally can either make you or break you. If we don't learn how to control the mind will control us. We are all guilty of letting our minds get the best of us at some point in life. I am sure that most of you can relate when I say that one negative thought played out a whole scenario in your mind of some sort, even visualizing this scenario happening, which in turn gave life to all kinds of emotions and fears. And this was all caused by something that you just thought that hasn't even occurred yet. And that's due to past occurrences that made us feel a negative feeling that hit hard enough to be stored in our subconscious. For those of you that are unfamiliar with these terms, the conscious mind is the part of the mind that is aware of our thoughts and experiences. Our subconscious or unconscious mind is part of the mind that collects thoughts, feelings, and experiences that it's outside of our awareness. So, being embarrassed as a kid, God, uh, traumatizing situations most definitely are going to be an impact and stored in our subconscious. But even like, being bullied, any type of fear, any type of negative feeling that's hit hard, those are the things that are going to be stored in your subconscious that we don't even know is still there. Something that happened in elementary school, we're grown today and we have certain behaviors and patterns due to that situation, and we don't even realize it because we're not even aware that it's stored in our subconscious. That's the best way I can explain it. So the universe only speaks vibrations. All words carry vibrations. So when we have negative thoughts or speak negative about ourselves or other people, if we're gossiping, anything low vibrational, the words have energies and we're sending that out into the universe. It is so important to be mindful of our choice of words, how we speak about ourselves, even in a joking manner, and control how we think. So let's get into the psyche. Psyche is a term used to describe the inner world of our thoughts, feelings, and emotions. It is the source of our experiences, motivations, and behaviors, and it is constantly evolving and changing throughout our lives. Understanding the psyche is the key to understanding ourselves and the world around us. By understanding the psyche, that gives us self awareness of our emotions, feelings, and thoughts, which help us make better choices. So the shadow is in our subconscious mind. The subconscious carries good and bad parts of us, of our experiences that we have been through over our lifetime. So there are good things that we subconsciously remember, smells, sounds, colors that will remind us of something good at one point in of our lives. um, things like that. If we hear something that really hits hard, that is beautiful, and we just really felt it, we'll remember that subconsciously. So it's not just bad things, it is good things too. However, most people have more difficulties with traumatizing situations, the shadow part. Those are the things that we most remember and have negative patterns and behaviors because of. So the shadow actually, that carries things we don't want to know about ourselves, that we don't like. While difficult and painful, it is imperative that we do own our shadow, that we own own those parts of us and bring it into a relationship with our consciousness. Those are the parts of self that we must show the most love to. Instead, we don't. We suppress it, we ignore it, we are in denial, we act differently because we don't want to know that those are parts of us. But like I said, those are the parts of us that actually need the most love. It's very healing. And so the goal is to bring the subconsciousness mind to integrate with the conscious mind. We want to make the unconscious conscious. And when we're doing this, we must have self compassion. It is so important to have self compassion for our shadow parts. It's challenging to face those parts of ourselves. So over time, we reject it. When we face the shadow, we must go into this just as an observer, non judgmentally, looking at the scenario from like a third party perspective. And remember that we must treat ourselves with the same kindness we would a friend. If a friend came to us, if we were analyzing a friend's situation, we would be honest, right? At least I would hope so. I would be honest, even raw. I would give it to you how I see it, and but I would do it with compassion. And we must show ourselves that same kind of treatment. And I don't believe that we do. We are our own worst critic. We are harder on ourselves than we are anybody else in the world. So if we see ourselves in a negative way, we think that the world sees us that same way. So what most people do is they build like this, facade. They morph into who they think people want them to be. Others become people pleasers, and others are just mean. The type of people that will like call you out on something in front of a crowd, call out a flaw, or make it known that you're wearing my shirt, um, or any bad situation that you might currently be in. They'll do that in front of everyone to take the attention off of themselves, because in their mind they feel like people can see what they see when they see themselves. And that's why it's so important to embrace yourself entirely with so much love and acceptance. So again, the goal is to bring the unconscious to conscious and integrate it into our lives. So we all have multiple parts of ourselves, and that's normal because we have to be different people over the years, right? Life is always changing. We're always in different situations, so we adapt. You'd be surprised, one, put into a situation, how much so you will adapt, how much so your mind will even adapt. And those become different parts of us that come out in the time that it might be needed. Um, I had 7 personalities, and you know what? I love them all. They were all beneficial in certain times of my life. And even though I may have walked through life not proud of a lot of things that I did, I learned that that's that's what got me through. Those parts of me is what got me through a lot of tough situations. And for that, I am grateful. For that, I love those parts of me. You can't judge me upon things that I had to do due to other situations, unless you've walked in somebody else's shoes, unless you can literally say that I know what you went through. My situation was exactly to the T the same. See, we all could go through the same things, but our situations are still not the same. And our minds don't work the same. Our hearts are not the same. We are separate individuals. So the way that we perceive a situation is really what it comes down to: perception. You may look at somebody else's life and be in envy of it. And in all reality, that person is not anything that you think that they are. They're actually so insecure. They're actually very unhappy. They're actually a very wounded person. And you think that they are so strong and so courageous, and look at how wonderful their life is. And you have no idea what's really going on. It's all about perception. So, how we perceive ourselves really matters. Nobody else's opinions of us matter. But we make it important because we want to fit in. We don't want to be the bad guy. We we all just want to feel loved, right? We all just want to feel like we're part of something. And depending on your childhood and your environment, that could be a lot stronger than other people's. So if we don't embrace ourselves entirely, we won't find peace. We won't find authenticity. We won't know unconditional love. We must learn to have self-acceptance, forgiveness, and unconditional love for ourselves. And when we do that, it will flow over into others. We can show compassion to others. We can show understanding to others. And the effect will trickle on. When you start doing this work, eventually you'll catch yourself having a negative thoughts, and you'll be able to redirect yourself. You'll be able to say, oh no, that doesn't resonate with me, and have a positive thought right away and just change it. You will reflect on past situations and realize how you could have acted different, that your reaction to something caused the ripple effect to happen. You will have lots of light bulb moments realizing how you could have treated people better, how people should have treated you better, and how you should establish boundaries. You will see your weak moments. You will see your embarrassing moments. You will face cheating moments when you've cheated yourself out of things, when you've cheated others, by stepping on, whether it be their name or anything, so that you can get ahead. Um, you'll see how your lies created a lot of distress and pain for others, and so much more. Some of us have a lot more going on than other people, and that's okay. It doesn't matter what it is. And look, there's going to be a lot of uneasy, uncomfortable moments where you're going to want to give up and say, why am I even doing this? Fuck this. Because it's hard to see your ugly truths. It's hard to see ourselves in the raw, ripping off the veil to see the truths of ourselves, how ugly we had been at times, how we caused pain to others, how we were untruthful to the point of maybe literally ruining another person. In this time, we can learn forgiveness, take the lesson for what it is, move forward with an understanding of who you don't want to be anymore, who you don't want to resonate anymore. Because whether you realize it or not, just because you don't think about these things, these moments, these things that you did to people, just because you have suppressed it and put it away, doesn't mean that it's not affecting you. It is affecting you. It's affecting you every day of your life in your subconscious. And that's why you're not aware of the subconscious. It is affecting you. It is playing over and over again that you're that person and you did this to another person. And until you face that and you own it and you forgive it and you send it off with love, it will continue to ruin your life, and it'll get worse. And the same is goes for any traumatizing situations, things that have happened to you that were not your fault, that made you feel less than or not worthy, um, things people said, the way they've treated you, uh, a lot of things. So even those things, even though you don't think about it, or you may have forgotten like specific situations, or maybe you remember very, very detailed situations, just because you don't think about it doesn't mean that it's not like playing in your subconscious. And it is, and it is affecting you. It's affecting you every single day when you want to take a step in a new direction, when you want a promotion at work, all these things that you don't go for because subconsciously you don't feel worth it. And I used to think, because I got my hair done and my nails done and I dressed nice and I took myself on vacations and I took my kids on vacations and I did all this stuff by myself and I drove a nice car and I had my own house and all blah, 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 that, oh, I love myself. That's not love. That's not love. Some of that is self care, which is very, very important, most definitely. And it does make us feel good, but it's not unconditional love for ourselves. It's not the same thing. When you add that to unconditional love, then oh my God, the experience is even better, right? But when you're trying to replace that for the voids that you feel inside due to situations that whether you are aware or unaware of, it's not the same. And that's why it's only temporary. And so during this time doing this work, we can learn forgiveness. We can take the lessons for what they are. We can begin to have an understanding of who we are, what we've went through, why we are the way that we are, and how we don't want to be anymore, so that we can begin to change it. And that is growth. That is growth on all levels. You must own all parts of you and love all parts of you. Accept who you've been, accept why you did it. It doesn't even matter. You just accept who you've been. And you can only truly love others when you've mastered unconditional love for yourself. We throw around the word love a lot, but I believe that in reality, we have no idea what love truly means. We don't. We think that we do, but we don't. And it's impossible to say that we unconditionally love someone else when we can't even show ourselves that. And even worse, we expect others to show us unconditional love, to show us a level of respect, to show us that they hold us to a certain standard that we can't even do for ourselves. I know that some of you are probably like, no, I love my kids unconditionally, and I don't think that she knows what she's talking about. But ask yourself this: how can I show my children to be emotionally stable, peaceful, compassionate, understanding, comfortable within my own body, secure about my body and my mind, not fearful of other people's opinions or judgments on me, and go through life with this raw confidence when we can't even master those things ourselves. Children are sponges. Everything they see their parents do, they take that in all the way. And the first 7 years of a child's life is literally what is making who they are and will carry out with them for the rest of their life. Our brains aren't fully developed, at least until our 20s. So imagine during our most sensitive growing years, the toxicity that children see. And if you're a child that comes from that, then you already know the screaming and the fighting, maybe the crying, um, physical, if it gets physical, the different boyfriends, all these things, drugs, even if it's not the parents doing drugs, it's the sibling doing drugs. All these things play a role and play into how we feel about ourselves. And if we can't see our parents or our parent be that for themselves, we ain't going to be it for ourselves. And the best way to teach someone is by leading by example. We can't expect something from anybody else that we can't even do ourselves. And I know others, others of you are probably thinking, well, my kids are grown and they have great jobs and they have nice homes and they have great families and their kids are great. And let's be honest, let's be brutally, truthfully honest, because we know our men or our wives and we know our children. Whether we choose to see it for what it is or to turn our face is a totally different story. But deep down inside, we know. And this is where getting real We have to get real with ourselves. So, like, if you're going to be honest, okay, how many of your grown kids are verbally abusive, carry toxic traits, controlling, cheating, um, emotionally unstable, emotionally not connected to their children, lack of communications skills, bad boy or cocky, persona, is triggered easily, not happy, self medicates, or prescribed prescriptions. No different, just different dealer. And that's just to name a few things. If any of these things are true about your kids, your grown kids, then you have failed them. And I'm not saying that with being judging at all. I say that with love, and I'm just being honest. And I'm guilty of this myself. So please don't think for 1 second I'm saying, oh, this is you. If your children are like that, I'm so guilty of it too. And as parents, we don't do this intentionally. I mean, I know there's some people out there who do, and that's a form of abuse, but for the majority of us as parents, we don't do this intentionally. We are part of a repeated cycle that continues from generation to generation out of lack of information, misleading information, and a system intended to program us to need what they are selling by being weak, dysfunctional humans. And we've been born into this. But now that you know, now that you are aware, because here I am discussing this, now it's up to you to change it. And what you do from this point on does reflect you, because now you're no longer uninformed. So it is up to you to change it and to break it. Our kids are always watching us. I don't care how old they get, they are always watching and learning. And no matter how old they get, no matter how old you get, doing the work is always a good idea. Like, it doesn't matter. You're never too old to better yourself. You're never too old to change your way of thinking, to be open minded, to feel peace, to feel true happiness and joy. It's never too late, and you're never too old. And when you do these things for yourself, because you go through you go through a point when you're having all these epiphanies and you're having all these awakenings that you just want to throw it up on everybody else, because you're like, it just feels so good to know certain things and understand, like, holy shit, oh my god, that makes sense, okay, I can fix that, or fuck, like, yeah, okay, now I know why the world is this way, and so on and so on. And you want to share that with everyone you love, because you want them to do the same thing. And just keep in mind that you cannot force anybody to do the work, change the way that they are, if they're not ready. You have to truly, truly be ready and want this for yourself, because it is work and it can be difficult, and it does take consistency, it takes dedication, it takes you showing up for you. And not everybody is there at the same time. So the best thing that you can do is just be that and lead by example. And when people start seeing that your life got better, and that you as a person and as a whole inside is putting off a positive energy, an energy that they want to be around, and that you're just glowing and lighting up, they're going to get curious, and they're going to start asking questions, and they'll probably do the work themselves. Well, let's hope, right? So the best thing you could do is just do it for you, and be who you are, and enjoy it. And enjoy it. If you haven't already seen my understanding trauma video, I highly recommend that you do go take a look at it. Um, you'll get a more in-depth explanation on trauma and its effects. You will be so surprised to learn sometimes so much of what we experience is not even our own traumas or uh, We have patterns and things that we do in life that have been created from something we don't even realize that was literally pushed down, like pushed down on us from the womb. Like, yeah, it gets pretty deep, and it's good information, and it will help with understanding more things and make this shadow work and mind power easier to accomplish. So the subconscious doesn't know when you're having positive or negative thoughts. It doesn't even care because it doesn't affect the subconscious. It affects you though. And the universe, remember, will only mirror to you back to you whatever vibrations you're putting out. So it's important to realize and know that since birth, we've been programmed. Beliefs been pushed upon us from all outside forces, including our parents, family, the entire system, who we are, what our name is, what our religious structures are, what we want to do in life, who we should be, what we should be doing, where we live, what we eat, etc. So it's no wonder that by the time we hit our 30s and 40s, 50s, that we're having a midlife crisis. We don't know who the fuck we are. We don't know what we want to do. We are lost. And what we do know is this ain't it. This ain't it. I don't want this anymore. I'm overworked, underpaid, I'm stressed out, I can't afford shit. I'm going through this. I have these bad habits, I got these bad patterns. Everything in my life is a repetitive cycle of negativity. And Calgon is not coming to take you away. So what the fuck, right? I'm looking to fill this void in everything but myself. And we do that because subconsciously we don't believe that we are enough to fill ourselves because we've never been taught that way. And you want to know what's scary? We've been made to believe that God and love is outside of ourselves. And that is just not true. Everything we need is already within. We are God. We are an extension of God. Divine Spirit made us in His creation. So, I mean, that says it in itself. We are more powerful than we even know, than you even know. And while the conscious mind is busy handling the real time moments, like right now, the subconscious is collecting emotions, feelings, and thoughts and stores it to refer back to if needed. Many people confuse their gut instinct, your intuitive God feeling, with the mind. That voice that's saying, "Nope, not safe, don't do it." We've been purposely fed the same repetitive like the same repetitive days for our entire school life, right? If you think about it, in school from a very young age, we are only taught to use our minds. Think, think, think. But no one ever teaches you to feel. How do you feel? Do you feel that's right? Do you feel that's safe? What does your intuition say? No, they steer far away from that. It's all about the mind, but then they're teaching you what to think is really what's happening and how to be. They indoctrinate you. I don't put that damn word. Anyway, so no one teaches us how to trust ourselves, which is so important. And then we go through life making bad choices because we're human. And then we have no trust for ourselves. When you know, when you listen to your God feel, your intuitiveness within the soul, it's not the same as that subconscious voice saying, no, Rue, don't answer that question. What if it's wrong? Remember that time that you answered that question wrong and everyone laughed at you? No, not a good feeling. Yep, no, don't do it. And what happened? I didn't raise my hand to answer, even though in my gut I knew that I had the answer right. I allowed fear to control the situation. And you know what happened? Dana answered the fucking question with the same thing I was going to say, but I didn't. And guess what? She was right. See, so we confuse the two. And when we listen to our mind, sometimes we miss out. It's so important to be able to separate the two, that voice from your subconscious and your intuitive gut feeling, that feeling in your gut when you know something, when you know something is true. It doesn't matter that you have proof, you know it to be true. And listen, your mind is a trickster and will play tricks on you. Your heart, it could deceive you, but your gut never lies to you. Your intuitiveness, that connection that you have with source, it doesn't ever lie to you. And we don't know how to separate the two, control the mind and make it shut up and go with what we feel. We don't make decisions based on our heart and how we feel about the situation. Is it the right thing to do? Are we doing this? Are we making this choice based from a love, compassion decision from the heart? Or are we thinking logic and all this other stuff and using our mind? Our mind was never meant to be in the driver's seat of our choices and how we carry on in life. And I don't think enough people know that. So I do believe that our education system has been written to purposely disconnect us from our creativeness, our intuitiveness, and our oneness so that we can be indoctrinated into only using our minds the way that they program them to be for their benefit. And thus far, it has worked. After so many years of repetitive cycles, we don't even need to use our conscious minds to be, to do, to act any certain way, because it is now stored in our subconscious. And just like breathing, we don't even need to think about it to act, to do, or to be when it comes to certain things. And that's disconnected us from our own powers, which is why we need to take that power back and control the way that we think, see, and feel. Most definitely. And kids are pure, so kids are way more connected to earth, to themselves, to oneness, to their intuition, to their imaginations, to their third eye. They don't think about it. A baby, my daughter's 2, she don't think before she makes a decision. She don't think about what she's going to do next. And yes, I know that that's not always the situation when you're a kid, but that freedom that children have to just do what they want to do, to just be who they are, to just, act on what they think is going to be a fun, right? And if it's not, then it's not. But they don't use their mind to dictate everything that they're going to do. We put that in them when we send them to school. And we disconnect them. We take away that specialness that we each individually carry within us. If you can think it and you can see it in your mind's eye, you can literally create it, whatever it is. That has been known for thousands of years, but it's been hidden from us, and now it has been proven scientifically. So, although it may take some time, getting used to, some, more for others than whatever, it is possible for all. Everyone can literally do this. It's manifesting. It all goes together. Everything plays hand in hand, oneness. And we have been so separated and divided from everything. And in the reality of it, everything is connected to another thing. Like, I did the video, the shadow work, and I'm like doing this mind power one, and I'm like, holy shit, I should just merge them. It's so connected. And now, I'm sitting here and I'm doing the video and I'm like, fuck, this is manifesting. It's all connected. So the more understanding that you have about things, the more you better you'll be able to do and create and to control and manifest and change the life that you have right now that you're not happy with. This is where affirmations come in. So, repeating the same affirmation daily or even a few times a day on your way to work, on your way home, on your trip to the bathroom, on your lunch break, whatever. If you know, repeat an affirmation daily, your mind, your subconscious will begin to put it in there, to embed it, to store it. You can even get creative. You can make your own affirmations. You don't need somebody else's. You can make something that suits you. And if you want to get real with it, real creative, like the TV commercials, you can make it a jingle. And I believe that it'll work faster. Science says that if you hear something 3 times, it's embedded in the subconscious. This is why commercials repeat the phone numbers 3 times. If you ever notice that when you're listening to like one of those lawyer commercials or get cash now, I want my money and I want it now. They repeat the phone numbers, they do it 3 times or more every single time. Pay attention next time you hear a commercial and you'll see. The difference though is that you're not, consciously thinking about it. So it embeds in your subconscious easier. When we are purposely trying to change a belief that we've carried with us for decades, I believe that our subconscious becomes resistant, and that's when the mind becomes a trickster. It's important to stay consistent. We naturally give up when we don't see results right away. We become very impatient. The world moves so fast today. Everything is like an assembly line, from urgent care to drive-throughs and on and on. And we must learn to be still, to be patient, to be consistent and mindful. And we must learn to quiet the mind so that we can just be. And that's where patience comes in and, mindfulness. You will absolutely, without a doubt, see and feel the change if you follow this consistently. The powers that own the world, they know this. They have studied the brain for decades. They understand that anything repeatedly heard, seen, or spoken will bury itself into the subconscious mind. And this is the reason for commercials and marketing and the repetitive shit that they play over and over, be it on a billboard, be it on the radio, be it on a TV commercial. And that is the base of marketing. Eventually, we will become what they want us to be: non-questioning, slave-worked consumers, disconnected from self, disconnected from our divinity, sick, looking for the government to save us with their $1 trillion drug industry. And that is the fact. And that is where I want to say at least maybe 65 to 70% of humanity has turned to. We believe that everything is outside of us. Whether, and maybe it's not just prescription drugs to make you feel better, it's church and God. Yes, God, but we are God. We are connected to God. God is not outside of us. We don't need a priest we don't need to speak to a priest so that he can relay it to God. We don't need a middleman. We don't need a messenger. We are connected. We can, when we speak to source, we speak through ourselves. You understand what I'm saying? And that type of mentality, that type of brainwash is enough to have done a good amount of damage to us already, on top of what we go through from the womb with trauma into our lives. So when you think about all of these things, then you understand, like, maybe I'm not that fucked up. Things start looking different and you get a little bit easier on yourself, and it makes it easier to do the work and to be rawly truthful, and to forgive yourself and others, and to let it go. When we realize that there is nothing wrong with us, we are perfectly imperfect, and we have the power to change our reality, your entire life will change. Depending on your age, you've been through decades of programming. Our unconscious mind's job is to make us feel safe, to make you feel safe. That's it. So naturally, it's going to stay in the comfort zone that it's accustomed to. And even if the situation is not good, rather than go outside of what they know, because they don't know good or bad, the subconscious, it doesn't know that. It just knows what's comfortable, what's the same, whatever it is that it knows. So then that's where it wants to stay, right? The mind doesn't want to be challenged and out of its comfort zone. So we must make that conscious decision to challenge ourselves, to step out of what is comfortable. And the good news is that we can rewire our subconscious mind. We can program it to be different, to believe different things, to write our own story, and be the author of our own ending. Take on the next chapters of our life, and we're writing that script. Remember, cells that fire together wire together. So when you are repeating affirmations, when you are continuously doing the work, when you keep telling yourself that you are this, you are that, it's going to stick. They're going to wire together. Those old cells are going to fire off, and those new ones are going to connect and bond, and you're going to create a new subconscious. And it can be done, most definitely. So this is why shadow work goes hand in hand with the power of the mind. But you must understand and do the shadow work so you can understand yourself and release what no longer serves you, so then you can master your mind. You can do the mind work, and you can create from your standpoint, from who you are and what you want for you. So when you do the shadow work, you must be ready to face all the trauma, no matter how severe it was, to face all the false beliefs, the lies, the stories, the fear stored in your subconscious. And after you have made peace with what was and have forgiven yourself and others, and you have released it, you can start mastering your own mind, rebuilding the narrative about yourself, and create a life built on your authenticity. By observing the beliefs that we have about ourselves and the world and our way of living, and questioning it all to identify if that's what you really resonate with, or if that's just still there from what your parents, pushed on you, church, school, your doctor. Is that, do I believe that because that's what I was told? Or is that what I truly believe? Is that what I truly want? So when you know what you are not, you then can begin to know who you are and who you want to become, where you're going and why. And then you can rewire yourself to believe in yourself, to believe that you deserve, to believe that you are in control. And from that builds confidence. The confidence that you build is from the knowing. No one's opinion of you matters because you have played with it. You've conquered your demons, as people say. You know who you are. You know who you aren't. You know where you've been and what you no longer care to resonate with. And that's how rebuilding starts. And that's how other people's opinions, judgments, it becomes irrelevant to you. It's not your problem anymore. It's their problem, and you don't even care. You don't even associate with it. Manifesting, even when you don't believe, what you desire to be true, if repeated, will eventually become the truth to the subconscious mind, because who we are on a daily basis and what we attract to ourselves doesn't come from our conscious mind. It comes from our subconscious mind. And a lot of people don't understand that when they're trying to manifest, and they say, "Oh, that shit doesn't work." No, it does work, but you're doing it from your conscious mind, who is only alive in the moment, in the now, is aware, not the subconscious. And that's where you create from, is your subconscious. So to create and to manifest, you must believe that you are worthy. You must believe that you can. You must believe that you deserve it. And even when you're starting out, if you don't quite have those beliefs yet, that's the thing. Repetitively, your subconscious takes it in, your subconscious believes, and then all of a sudden you're attracting things. You become that vibration. So everything is energy. Money's energy. Everything that we see around us is energy. And to attract that energy, we must be vibrating on that same level of vibration as what we're trying to attract. When you're low vibrational, you're not attracting anything but low vibrations. So when you get into that, you know, believing in yourself and believing of what you deserve, your vibrations grow, and you start attracting things as you're on that vibration. So when you can visualize the life that you see yourself having, being the person that you want to be, and feeling that, and you do that daily, and it's, it was difficult for me. I'm not gonna lie. At first, I knew what life I wanted. I knew uh, what I was trying to call for myself, and I could even see it a little bit. That took some time for me too, to really get in deep and picture it, because you got to be detailed down to, like, every little detail. If you're manifesting a home, the colors in your home, the furniture in your home, the walls, like, you got to see it in detail, as if you're really there. That took a little time for me, but feeling it was a little more difficult for me. Feeling what it would feel like to have that, and probably because I never had that, and maybe some part deep down inside of me didn't really feel worthy of it. And I realized that my relationship to money, from old belief systems that I had heard over and over as a kid: money doesn't grow on trees, you've got to work hard for money. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't have to work hard for money. You got to be in the same energy as money. Money flows to you effortlessly. And I do have affirmations um, in my on my videos, so make sure that you check them out. So it's to get that feeling of what it would be like to be that person was a little more difficult for me, but I didn't give up. I kept going, and now I can totally, I think of it, I see it clearly in detail. I'm not afraid to see what I want. Nothing is too much. Don't ever feel like you're overdoing it. If you're thinking, no, use that imagination, overdo it. There is no overdoing it. See it and feel it. Ask yourself, what would it feel like to be that person, to have those things? How would I feel if I was there right now? And you just close your eyes and see it. You feel what it would be like in that moment that you finally had what you're trying to manifest. And then you stay positive, you stay working on yourself, and you stay raising your vibration, and you will see things manifesting to you. This doesn't happen overnight. This is real work. This is your real test of how dedicated you are to yourself, how much you want to invest in yourself, how much you want to level up in life. A lot of people won't do it. A lot of people probably already turned this off. And if you're still here, then you truly do have a desire. But even then, a lot of people are going to get halfway through it maybe and be like, oh, fuck this, get distracted, things go on in their life and they just go back into what they do. And that's okay. You could always try again. I didn't get it right the first time. I had to keep coming back and restarting and doing it over. I didn't count how many times, but life does get in the way. But when you are really focused and you are really in that point of your life where you're just like, something's got to give, because I'm fucking on the verge of snapping. Like, everything in my life is just falling apart, and I am looking everywhere for the answers, and I'm dying for someone to save me. And you realize that you can only save yourself. Nobody's coming to save you. You've got to do the work. You've got to be brave. You've got to be consistent. You've got to show up for yourself. You've got to level up. You've got to be dedicated. Because then and only then will you see the change. And when you start seeing that change, man, it feels so good to feel accomplished, to feel understood by yourself, like understanding yourself. So many of us don't understand ourselves, and I was one of them. And to have all these epiphanies and start seeing the truths and seeing the world, man, that shit is so amazing. And then as time goes on, you start attracting people who are on the same level as you, into the same things as you, having the same epiphanies and learning the same things, and you actually have somebody to go back and forth and discuss it with, and you're just like, wow, yes, the fucking world is waking up. And it just becomes more and more awesome. And then hopefully you get to a point where you can share your story, where you can share what you've learned, however that may be for you. Because more people need to know these things and wake up to it. And you'd be surprised how many people really don't know these things, who've really never even heard the term shadow work or unconscious and consciousness, who are literally just obliviated to everything. And there's always people out there that need your voice. A lot of people are not going to resonate with me and keep scrolling. And there's going to be so many people who do and who benefit from me and what I'm sharing. And for those that did not resonate with me, may be the ones that resonate with you. And I'll tell you what, you don't have to be perfect and have it all together, because there's no such thing as being perfect or having it all together, because we're constantly evolving. Everything is constantly changing, so we're constantly growing, at least we should be, and learning. So it's not about waiting for the right moment and waiting till you're in this perfect position. No, it's about just knowing what you know, living it, doing it, experiencing it, and sharing it to help someone else and pay it forward. And if we all did enough of this work, we can literally change the world and the way that we live in it, and we can save the generations to come. And if that's not your true goal, then you've wasted your time on this video. Because that should be the goal. To change the generations coming, to give them something better, something stable, something worthy, to save the earth from all of this disgustingness while saving ourselves. There are many different ways to do shadow work: journaling, meditation, working with a spiritual or life coach, shadow work guidebook. And, there's different ways to do the power of the mind. Affirmations, and there's like a power of the mind guidebook that I put together. Power of the mind really, really goes hand in hand with the shadow work. And it's not until you really have done the shadow work that you can master the mind. You'll just drive yourself crazy. The mind is so strong. But with that all being said, um, and however you choose to do it, I mean, there's the building self-esteem activities, vision board, goal mapping, manifesting. Those are all also part of the power of the mind. And while these are all things that you can do on your own, I highly recommend having a coach or a guidebook to walk you through this journey. Someone to keep you on track, hold you accountable, talk to you when it's rough, celebrate your victories, provide the right material exclusively made for you, answer any questions that you may have. And so, for those of you that don't know, I am a spiritual life and transformational coach. I am a sound and healing practitioner and a certified Reiki practitioner. Um, I am making videos on sound healing and Reiki for, energy work, chakra alignments and those kinds of things so that people can more understand what that is, what it does for you, for the earth, for everything is one, and how it's beneficial to add it to this type of work. So be sure to look out for those videos. I am putting together a package that will consist of everything in total: breaking yourself down, forgiveness, release, to building yourself back up, mind power, and creating a whole new life, a whole new vision, a whole new um, story where you're the author and it's coming from an authentic place from within yourself. Involved in that will be sound baths, some energy work, chakra alignments, and live Zooms, one on ones, group, everything. I'm putting that together in a package deal. There's something for everyone because my goal is to truly empower and help people. And so there will be something for everybody. Like I said, I'm also putting together a Power Mind guidebook and Shadow Work guidebook. So if you want to go that route and just do the books, that's something you can also get from me. So if you are ready to invest in yourself, to be committed to yourself, and dive deep into your core, practice forgiveness, take control and take your power back, and master your mind so that you can create the life that you desire from a confident, authentic place, then I invite you to join me. Please feel free to comment below, or you can see me on my website at www.lifeontheotherside.com. You can find me on Facebook. You can email me. Be sure to, when you're going to my website, to put it in exactly how you see it on the screen. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification button to receive alerts for when I post more videos. Please like, share, and comment, and I'll see you on the other side.